This is the Megatrakk Scrapjet, an orcish automobile, an orcomobile if you will, built from the remnants of leftover orcish aircraft which for some reason never got off the ground. I cannot imagine why. I picked up this kit a little while ago to add a little bit of speed to my army. That, and to give me a new project to procrastinate from finishing it. So with that in mind, let's crack into the box and see what the kit's like to build. By this point, I've built and painted a fair few orcs before, but I haven't really ventured into the world of vehicles. I've painted the Def Copters and Def Dread from the original Orc Combat Patrol, and I also bought myself a Scrajet, which has been sitting unfinished on my pile of shame for, well, let's not get into that. One of the reasons why I went with this kit specifically was because of the price. Namely, that it was cheaper than a lot of the other really expensive kits. As soon as I open the box, I can kinda see why this is the case. Every piece of the Scrapjet is contained within a single sprue set. As a frequent kit basher, I love using all the leftover pieces from a kit to use on projects later. However, even with a quick glance at the instruction, it's immediately obvious that this kit isn't going to give you any leftover pieces. Every piece has its place, which means there'll be no spares at the end of the process. It's a bit of a bummer, but I guess you get what you pay for. Essentially, the kit is divided into two halves. Oh, the left side and the right side, I wasn't sure if I needed to specify that. After clipping out the main body pieces, it's essentially a simple process of adding the features on the left and right side of the car. There's no weird organic flesh bits that don't quite sit together properly and are really confusing to put together. It's really a simple mechanical process, which I guess contextually makes sense. To begin the construction process, we basically take the two back halves of the car and then glue them together using the driver's seat as a divider. One thing I did notice was that these pieces needed to fit together quite tightly, so I needed to spend some time grinding down some of the sprue nubs to make sure the pieces fit properly. I also had to do the same thing for the Scrapjet's front turbine. You can see that this piece is pretty weirdly shaped, but at least that gives you confidence you're putting it in the right way, since it's physically impossible to put it in any other. The instructions basically tell you to glue the driver's seat and the front turbine onto the right side of the car, and then glue the left side of the car onto those. I was able to get the driver's seat glued in pretty easily, but the front turbine was a little bit wonky with only one half of the vehicle. So I definitely recommend gluing the front turbine and both sides of the vehicle together all at once, basically combining step 1 and 2 of the instructions. Another small detail to build on the right side of the car is this little grot hiding in the back. Since I'm a fan of kit bashing my projects, a fact which you probably all know by now, I wanted to do a classic kit bashing technique and give this guy a different head than the one he's supposed to have. On my pile of shame, I had a box of Meganobs that I've still yet to build, which includes this little guy here. I figured his head would be as useful as any, so I decided to put this on the Grot inside of the Scrapjet. I went through the process of building everything out, and I was really happy with the results. That was, at least, until I glued on the second half of the car. You see, as soon as the second half of the car was on, 95% of the Grot became completely obscured. In fact, with his little mechanical faceplate, you can barely tell there's a Grot inside here at all. In fact, once the entire construction process was complete, unless you have the correct lighting conditions, you actually can't see the Grot at all. So now I need to find a new Grot head for the Grot that comes with my Meganobs, because the one I was supposed to use is now lost to the void. Lucky me. Once the drill bit and hood piece for the car are finally installed, the main body of the vehicle is more or less done. Again, I would really recommend trying to file down your sprue connectors as much as possible, because I found these pieces were quite difficult to put together cleanly. Even now, there's a visible seam on the bottom of the vehicle, which I tried to bootleg connect together with super glue, but it's on the base of the vehicle, so I'm not too worried about it. After fiddling with a couple of fins on the back of the vehicle, you're then pretty much ready to add the treads and the rest of the wheels. Now, before you're able to put the back treads on, you first have to glue down this back rear axle thing. I don't know what car parts are, bear with me. In order to get this thing into position, you really need to push it under the base of the model. It is a very tight squeeze, so I was morbidly terrified that I was going to snap the damn thing in two. You will need to bend the plastic slightly to get it on, and if you haven't glued the wings on properly from a previous step, you might have to go back and start them again from scratch. There was a couple of other spokes you needed to install for the front and back wheels, and making sure these were perfectly level wasn't the easiest thing to do. If you actually look really closely at the turntable I showed at the start of this video, you can see a moment where the entire balance of the model shifts because the wheels are slightly misaligned, making the whole model slightly misbalanced. Now, I'm actually not too worried about this in the grand scheme of things because I'll eventually stick the model onto a base, so it won't shift around on the tabletop. It's more of a testament to how careful you need to be when gluing the model together, because even subtle misalignments at the start of construction can have flow-on effects later. Now, returning to the grot at the back of the vehicle for a second, the instructions tell you to put this little crosshair over their opening. I ended up taking this crosshair off because if it was there, I simply wouldn't be able to move a brush around it in order to paint it properly. Who thought that was a good idea? That's what I want to know. Also, just take my advice on this one. It's borderline impossible to put these little gun barrels straight on the back of the vehicle, so just lean into the orc jankiness. It's better for your sanity that way. Now, when it came to the pilot of the vehicle, I made a few subtle changes, as I oft want to do. For the head, I replaced the one that came with the box with a leftover I had from my Storm Boys kit. And for the pilot's right arm, I managed to repurpose a boss knob arm, ripped straight from a standard pack of boys. From there, the finishing touches on the car are fairly simple and straightforward. The wheels come in separate pieces you have to glue together, and then glue them onto the car, and then from there it's just adding a whole bunch of rockets and machine guns in typical orc fashion. Me being me, however, I wanted to add a few extra details to really make the model my own. I had a few leftover pieces for a Grot companion from a leftover box of Squighog boys, and it turns out his default pose perfectly aligned with the back of the Scrapjet. So I shoved the head of the Grot that was supposed to be in the back of the vehicle on him instead, and stuck him to the back of the car. The way his feet sits on the lip of the porthole covering makes him look like he was meant to stand there to begin with. You can barely even tell it was a last-minute addition. And then the final item I felt I needed to add was a nice hood ornament. I figured a skull would do nicely on the hood of the Scrapjet, so I figured, hey, why not make it a skull stolen from the biggest orc of all time? You see, in the official model kit for Ghazghkull Mag Uruk Thraka, he has this delightful skull sitting at the top of his mega armor. When building my own model of Ghazghkull, I decided not to glue this skull on for two reasons. One, I thought the mega armor looked cool enough without it, and decided to operate on a bit of a less is more mentality. And two, I forgot to glue it on, and it was too late to go back. Yeah. And so there we have it. The finalized, complete, built, fully functional, quote unquote, Megatrakk Scrapjet. All we have to do now is find the time to paint the damn thing. All in all, I think this was a fun little project. It's certainly not as big as a lot of other orcish vehicles, but it makes up for that by being quick to build and also cheaper to buy. My number one piece of advice if you're looking to pick up this kit is to be very careful with how you put the pieces together. There's a very slim margin of error when it comes to this kit, so any extra bumps or sprue connectors on the pieces you cut out of the frame might shift the size and weight of the model, leading to complications later. And so, with all of that in mind, let me know what you think of this model in the comments below. Let me know what colors you think I should paint it. Let me know yeah.